It's 8:30. Good morning. I'm Ian Crouch with Hunter News. Officers from the Newcastle Police District have been appointed to oversee an investigation into a fatal crash at Cessnock. Hunter Valley Police were making inquiries to locate a 60-year-old man. The man was driving a Nissan Navara on Richmond Vale Road at about midday yesterday when he saw police and drove off at high speed. However, he crashed into a tree a short time later and died at the scene. Anyone who witnessed the crash is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. It seems more Newcastle buses are running late now than they used to before the network was privatised. The latest Auditor General's annual report shows 1 in 11 buses failed to turn up on schedule in 2017-18. This translates to 91% on-time running, 3% worse than the previous year when the buses were operated by State Transit. The government has set a benchmark of 95% for on-time running, and private operator Keolis Downer could face a financial penalty for failing to reach the target. The New South Wales Council on the Ageing is calling for co-housing, cooperatives or mixed equity housing to address growing mortgage stress in the Hunter. The body's latest report reveals while the main source of income for 40% of people over 50 is the aged or disability pension, 13% are still paying off their mortgage, with some relying on family for housing. But Council CEO Megan Lawson says it's even harder for seniors who are renting.
I think you can see in the report the figures that really concern me the most are about renters. It's almost 72% of renters estimate that they spend more than 30% of their income on rent, which obviously doesn't leave a lot for much else. But what's more concerning is the number of people who are spending much in excess of that. So it's something like 22% of people spend more than 60% of their income on rent.
Dungog Council could be the big winner if Labor wins next year's state election. Opposition leader Michael Daly says a future ALP government will commit $10.5 million to halve council's road infrastructure backlog. Country Labor candidate for Upper Hunter Martin Rush says Dungog Council has been dealing with a $21 million road infrastructure backlog thanks to the 14% of traffic movements from heavy vehicles, but only has a small rate base to fix local roads and bridges. University of Newcastle researchers are calling on residents of remote New South Wales to participate in an online survey focusing on the impacts of drought. Data gained from the survey will help to inform programs and initiatives to better support those living in drought-affected areas and give residents the opportunity to share their experiences with others. Research lead Emma Austin says the survey will provide crucial information on the links between drought, well-being and the ways people overcome adversity.
Completing the survey helps us understand more about the relationship between drought and well-being, and importantly about adaptive capacity. They can go to the Centre for Rural and Remote Mental Health, and there's a link there, or they can go to the University of Newcastle's page and search for the Centre for Water, Climate and Land.
The Hunter Valley Zoo at Nolkabah is celebrating a baby boom. Since October, there have been 13 baby monkeys and lemurs born at the zoo, which is a zoo record. The new arrivals include 2 black-headed spider monkeys and 4 Bolivian squirrel monkeys. The zoo is considering running a naming competition.
2NURFM Sport.
The Newcastle Jets have suffered the second loss of their W League campaign overnight, going down 1-0 to Brisbane in a difficult match at McDonald Jones Stadium. A controversial second-half goal to Brisbane was enough to sink the Jets despite massive appeals for offside by Newcastle players. Coach Craig Dean says he's looking towards his team's next match against defending champions Melbourne City next week.
If you can't get up for playing against the team that's won it the last 3 years in a row, then you're not going to get up for anything. Melbourne City will be another very tough game, and despite where they are in the ladder, they still need to be respected.
Meanwhile, Johnny Katrumbas has been named to make his return off the bench for the Jets match against Melbourne City on Sunday afternoon. The game will be Katrumbas' first since he was diagnosed and treated for thyroid cancer in the pre-season after he impressed in an intra-club youth game last week. Injured pair Daniel Georgievski and Jair were both included in the preliminary squad. However, it remains to be seen whether they'll recover in time for the match. And Belmont golfer Nick Flanagan is the best place of the Hunter contingent after yesterday's round of the Australian PGA Championship at Royal Pines. Flanagan is equal ninth, just 3 shots off the pace set by overnight leader Jake McLeod. And the winning numbers in Powerball are 29, 20, 22, 5, 3, 17 and 33, and the Powerball number is 12. 2NURFM News Time, 25 to 9.